Hi, I'm James Williams, and this is Men's Matters Radio. In this edition of Men's Matters Radio, it's all about help. And what I've done is I've gone to 4 different organisations. Now, I'm aware that there are hundreds and hundreds of organisations throughout the world, but I've just gone to 4 of them. The first of them is called CALM, the Campaign Against Living Miserably. I'll be talking to Rachel Clare, a representative from CALM, quite a key figure, lovely lady. And the thing is about CALM is that they actually go out and engage with young men. That is their target, young men who are under threat of perhaps suicide, self-harm, and have mental health issues, or just simply feel isolated and want to chat about something. A really great group. Like I say, they engage with young men at their level. They go out to the pubs, clubs, gymnasiums, and wherever they hang out. And if you can listen to that part of the show, please do. Take note of the numbers. You never know, it could save your life or somebody else's life. It's well known that very often men, and young men in particular, feel they have no one to turn to, no one who will listen to them. They just don't engage. And the idea behind this is to overcome that particular facet. The second organisation I'll be engaging with is called FASO, the False Allegations Support Organisation, and that's headed by Margaret Gardner. So if you're in a bit of trouble and you get falsely accused, as many men unfortunately are these days, and some women, then this is the group to turn to, and I'll be talking to her about what she can offer you. Third on the list is a group called Men Have Rights Too. Yes, there is a group called Men Have Rights Too, and this is I'll be talking to Gerald Cash, who's a qualified counsellor. And a lot of people set up as counsellors, but not all qualified. This guy is, so you can get actual advice from him. Now, his main principle is that when you phone up, you're not going to be turned away. You're not going to be fobbed off to some other organisation. He can actually engage with you there and then, or whoever else is on the phone line will help you as well. So that's an important thing. If you need help and support and advice, he's a good guy to listen to or talk to. Fourthly, we'll be talking to Brian Hitchcock from Men's Aid. And that is another help organisation to assist you if you are involved in a domestic violence dispute. And so we'll be talking to him to round off with. Okay, so that's the lineup. CALM, FASO, Men Have Rights Too, and Men's Aid. Here we go, let's roll it. Rachel Clare and CALM.
Hello, Rachel. What impressed me about CALM was the way you approached the problem. Men, in particular young men, don't respond in the same way as you might expect. CALM goes out and actually engages with young men at their level, where they are, where they hang out. And I thought that's quite proactive in doing that. So what I want to do, I'm going to shut up. And I'd just like you to just say what CALM is about, because obviously a lot of people don't know, and to provide a helpline and how, if a young man listens to this, how he can get help, So
okay.
The floor's yours.
Oh, fabulous. Okay. Well, CALM, which stands for the Campaign Against Living Miserably, is a male-specific suicide prevention charity for the UK. We were established in response to the fact that suicide is the single biggest cause of death for men under 35 in the UK, and not a lot of people know that. We operate a national helpline, which is open every day of the year, including Christmas Day and New Year's Day, and the number is 0800 58 58 58, which is open 5 p.m. till midnight. It's confidential, anonymous, and free from landlines, payphones, and most mobile networks. So it's there every single day for any guy who wants to call up and talk about anything. It doesn't have to be specifically about mental health or suicide. It could be anything that's getting them down, that they want to have a bit of an outlet, and talk to our trained professional helpline staff, who can then signpost them, talk the problems through with them, and then give them information about where they can go next, local agency services that they can contact, depending on what their specific problem is. yeah, it's a really important service, I think, because men often find it very difficult to ask for help. Asking for help is often seen as a sign of weakness. We are quite adamant about this idea of, being silent isn't being strong. And I think the way that Calm approach it is, rather than having a leaflet in a GP surgery or, a poster up in a clinic, we go to where men are. You'll find our magazine and our postcards and our guitar plectrums in student unions, record shops, venues, music venues, clubs, that kind of thing, because we feel that that's where the most likely guys are going to be. They're not going to be queuing up at a GP surgery. So that's how our approach differs from many other mental health charities.
That's absolutely excellent. And the helpline number is 0800 58 58 58.
That's right.
Yeah. So any young man listening out there who needs help, we'll put that number somewhere where you can easily access it, because you don't know when you may need it. And,
absolutely.
And that's it. And it's sort of a very important number from the point of view it could be life-saving.
Absolutely. We also have a website that has lots of information. It has all the information about the helpline. We also have a texting service where you can just, text your questions and they'll respond. The number is 07537 404 717. And also our website, which is thecalmzone.net. There's loads of information there, not just about the helpline, but about a whole raft of different issues. And a whole agency list of places that you can go and seek help. And also lots of entertaining and interesting content and interviews and music and sport and lots of different things. So it's worth checking it out.
Yeah, can you just give us that text service number again, please?
Sure, it is 07537 404 717. And again, that service is available 5 p.m. till midnight every single day of the year.
That's excellent. And I actually checked out the Calm website. I think it's quite exciting to look at. It's quite glitzy in some ways, but very serious, and it's got some really good information on there, and it's very engaging for young people. It's certainly not a boring site, I can say.
No, it's not.
Certainly not a boring site.
That's our aim.
And it's and it does address the taste, I would say, that young people have. So,
well, absolutely, and I think it's also about normalising the conversation about mental health. There's such a huge stigma attached to mental health, but I think through normalising the conversation, approaching it in a non-clinical, non-medical way, and a non-scary way, is really, really effective. And a lot of some of the content that is most effective, I feel, on the website is we have a lot of first-person accounts of guys who've been through a whole load of different things, OCD, anxiety, hair loss, job loss, relationship breakdown, all of the things that affect us every single day, but from their point of view. So it's all, very accessible, and make people realise that, you're not alone. Everybody goes through difficult times in their lives, and that there are options out there, and that talking about the problems can be extraordinarily helpful. So check it out.
That's absolutely excellent. Thank you, Rachel. And just a message to the guys listening out there. Your life is important to somebody somewhere, and if you don't think it is to yourself, seek help. Don't suffer in silence. Get help. Get support. There are people who care about you. There are people who love you, and people you perhaps don't even realise. So do seek help. If you have problems, contact that number, 0800 58 58 58, or text them on 0753 7404 710. Thank you, Rachel.
No problem at all. Thank you.
Okay, I'm talking to Margaret Gardner now from FASO, False Allegations Support Organisation. Hello, Margaret.
Hi, James.
Can you tell us how you can help people who do need help, what your organisation's about, and how they can contact you for help?
Well, FASO is a voluntary organisation dedicated to providing support to anyone affected by a false allegation of abuse. We have both a helpline and email facilities and a website. Our helpline is open Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. till 10 p.m. on 0844 335 1992. Our email is available at support@false-allegations.org.uk, and our website is www.false-allegations.org.uk. false-allegations.org.uk, and we're available for you at the times I've just said. Our helpline number is 0844 335 1992, and our email is support-allegations.org.uk.
That's splendid. Okay, so anybody listening out there, you may not need it at this very moment, but write that number down, write that contact down. You never know when you might need it. It's just like you won't know when you need a doctor often. So it is important, and FASO deal with shortage of finances, shortage of resources and things like that. So I always say this, if you can help them out anyway, they do need money like everybody else, but they're not on this programme just for that. It is mainly you, the listener, who may need some help to take note of that number and that contact arrangement. So thank you very much, Margaret, for that, and all the best to you.
Thank you, and we're always open for people to come and be part of the organisation.
Thank you very much indeed. Okay.
Bye.
I'm going to go to an organisation called Men Have Rights Too and speak to Gerald. Hello, Gerald.
Hello, hi.
Hello, Gerald. What is Men Have Rights Too? Why is that different? What have you got to offer people who need help?
Well, Men Have Rights Too is a charity offering help and support for men and their families and children who are in domestic violence relationships or abusive relationships, and they just get desperate. Who can they call? Where can they go for help? Often, if it's a male victim of domestic violence, he's not believed.
That's something we've come across all too often, I'm afraid.
Yeah, and so he might try to reach out for help, and he gets pushed away.
So what sort of help can you offer him?
Well, we don't push people away. We give a range of services.
When you say push people away, what do you mean by push people away?
Well, you've got to look at it from the caller's point of view, not from the service provider's point of view. The service provider might feel they've given out some information and they've done their job and pat themselves on the back. It's different looking at it from the service user's point of view. By plucking up courage to call a helpline and then be referred on by that helpline, there could very, very well be a feeling of, see, no one can help me.
So basically, if I was to ring you up, I wouldn't get just fobbed off. I would be talking to you, and you would be able to give me the support that I need.
I would be talking to you, or another qualified counsellor would be talking to you. We offer, well, first of all, we just listen to people that tell them story, let them get it off their shoulders, and then they realise that they're not being disbelieved; they are being actually listened to.
And you're a qualified counsellor.
Yes.
Well, that makes a difference, because you know often you phone up, you don't know who you're speaking to, do you? Really?
You don't, and well, you can still give empathy to the caller, whether you're a qualified counsellor or not. But it's beyond that point, which is important, because it's very, very hard to actually hear what is behind the words that are being said. Now, with men, they'll often couch their problems in cliches or other terms to avoid actually saying what it is that's hurting them. That's hurting as in emotional hurt, inner pain, stress. So, for example, in my counselling practice, men will come to see me, and quite often a man will present with anger management problems, because you see, it's acceptable, isn't it? So society expects a man to be powerful. So if a man says he's angry, well, we expect that. That fits in with what we expect. But if a man says he feels weak, he feels put upon, he's depressed, he's so low, he's got nowhere to go, no one to talk to, so that sounds a bit wimpish. So men don't want to be wimpish. Men want to be macho. So they'll tell you things that help to maintain their own feelings of what it is to be a man, rather than come straight out and tell you how they are feeling right now. And there's a big, big difference, and that's where training comes in. But if someone calls Men Have Rights Too, well, they might just want to talk. They might want to phone back in a couple of days. They might welcome if we say, can we call you back in a day or two? Is it safe to call you just to see how you're doing? And so we might return a call to them if they welcome that, and if they say it's safe for us to call them on the line they've got. We can offer counselling if they need counselling to find out, well, however did they get to the situation they're in now? And that's quite important, because whether you are the aggressor in a relationship or you are the victim in a relationship, life's experiences have led us to where we are now. So be it a victim or the aggressor, it's quite likely we are following a script that we've been fed from childhood. So it's difficult for us to be different from the person we are without a bit of help. Low self-esteem often goes with being a victim. So it's important to work with trying to regain some self-esteem, some self-confidence, and take responsibility for your own life.
Have you got a helpline number, and how can we contact you? I mean, a lot of guys, as I understand it, don't necessarily pluck up the courage to phone. They might email you or something. So,
we've got both. We've got the helpline number, which is 07456 257 457. There's the website you can go on for full details of all our services, which is www.menhaverights2, that's all one word lowercase, .co.uk. And you can email us at info@menhaverights2.co.uk.
Splendid, thank you very much. I'm going to talk to Brian Hitchcock, who's the coordinator for Men's Aid Helpline and also a trustee of it. He's also been a family law campaigner for many years. Hello, Brian.
Hi.
Now, you wanted to talk to us about the disparity in funding regarding male and female domestic abuse.
Yes.
Yep.
Basically, the Home Office figures say that 7% of the female population in the country are victims of domestic violence. That's 1.2 million victims annually. Men victims are 5%. That equates to 800,000 male victims each year. The funding run by the Home Office of £40 million for female victims of domestic violence, and for male victims of domestic violence, there's a fund of £225,000.
Well, that's an outrageous distance in funding, isn't it? And also, you know, the way they keep plugging the female side of things only, you know, that is scandalous.
Well, it equates to 28 pence per male victim. The female figure is £40, but you've also got to allow for female victims that local councils have their own budgets which they spend on female victims of domestic violence.
Oh, don't I know that? That happens in Portsmouth quite a lot. You know, there's hundreds of thousands of pounds spent on female victims and very, very little, if any, spent on male ones. But also they tend to ignore the fact that many men do not come forward because they're deterred by this.
That's true. We opened a new website about 5 months ago, and we've had between 14 to 15,000 hits on it. We get about 1,000 calls a year from male victims of domestic violence, and we get a lot of calls for men seeking help with their family law problems, because quite often, if you're a male victim of domestic violence, you suffer from a double whammy. The typical scenario is there's a domestic incident, the police are called, the man, if he's the victim, he gets arrested, he's carted off to the police station, and then all of a sudden he finds he's on the receiving end of an ex-party non-molestation order, and he's having to fight for contact with his children. He's lost his home, he's lost everything, and quite often it affects his job. It's a real problem for our society these days.
If they've got any children, the children see what's happened.
Yeah, we tend to work with adults in the Men's Aid Charity, because that's the people that call us. Occasionally we have children calling us, but the vast majority of the callers are adults. Sometimes we work with women. We're gender neutral in that respect. If a woman calls us and asks for help, then we will give assistance. But the vast majority of our callers are men, and out of those, a percentage of them are victims of domestic violence. And the problem is, if I can give you some case studies, I was working on an international case recently between Holland and England. The father was English and the mother was Dutch. Now, she was subjecting him to mental cruelty and sleep deprivation. She wasn't physically attacking him, but she was mentally abusing him. She'd also put her daughters on a quack diet, and they'd got 80% eczema all over them. And he was living a hellish life, and he was married to her, and he stuck it out. And then one day she served the divorce papers on him. He was the primary carer of the children. And then she abducted the children, and he was left in a foreign country. She cut off his money so that she controlled all the finances. She cut off his money. She emptied the bank account. But with our support, we got him back on his feet and to be able to fight again. And he's now won residence of his 2 children, and they're living with him in England. Yeah. So that was a success story.
That's remarkable. There's so many like that. Now, would you like to give the contact number for Men's Helpline?
Can I give you the website address first? It's www.mensaid.co.uk. Right, the helpline number is 0871 223 9986. Open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m.
Now, I have been asked sometimes, do you know any good solicitors? Well, I've had a little phone round, and I've come across a group called Quality Solicitors. They're a sort of get-together of about 200 solicitors across the UK. So all I can say to you is, phone them up if you need a solicitor. Their telephone number is 0845 075 4055. You get through to a main switchboard, and you may get referred to a solicitor that can deal with your case in another part of the country, but at least it'll be a good chance that particular solicitor will specialise in your particular problem. Okay, that's it for me. And just one little thing, I know that's about butterflies behind me. I don't know a thing about butterflies other than they flap and eat cabbages. So all I can say to you, wherever you are, God bless you all, and see you next time.